great to see you all here. My name is Thomas Lloyd, and on behalf of the Anti-Racism Commission of the Episcopal Diocese of Pennsylvania, it's my pleasure to welcome you all here to this third iteration of the workshop, Singing the African American Spirituals with Integrity. We're especially grateful to the congregation of St. Peter's Glenside for inviting us here, and to their rector, Reverend Barb Ballinger, who also serves as co-chair of the Anti-Racism Commission. Barb, she's working over here. Your workshop booklet includes the bios of our clinicians, clergy, and performers, along with a list of resources where you can learn more about the spirituals through reading, listening, and watching. And also some words to ponder about the spirituals from some important figures, Martin Nathaniel Dett, W.E.B. Du Bois, and Frederick Douglass. Before introducing our clinicians, I'd like to read the brief quotation at the bottom of that page that I just came across recently. It's by a clinical psychologist by the name of Dr. Arthur C. Jones, who was the faculty at the University of Colorado School of Music, and wrote a book, The Wisdom of the Spirituals. And he brings a perspective that I haven't thought of quite this way before. Spirituals are available to all persons who are prepared to open themselves to the unsettling healing power that inhabits these marvelous songs of life. So let me introduce our clinicians. First, Jarrett Roseborough, Director of Pine Forge Academy Choir. It's a truly outstanding high school choir, pre-college choir. It gives me an opportunity to plug the concert of the Bucks County Choral Society on October 20th, which will feature Jarrett's choir, as well as Ruth Naomi Floyd in a program of all spirituals at Our Lady of Mount Carmel in Doylestown. And there's flyers about that on the table, and we'll put some out there as well. Then we have Dr. J. Fluellen, who we remember from previous workshops. I would say Jay is the busiest musician and teacher in Philadelphia. Teacher of music and jazz studies at the High School for Creative and Performing Arts in Philadelphia, and co-director of music at the African Episcopal Church of St. Thomas. And we're going to start off with Carrie Lessene. Carrie is also an original clinician in our workshops, and is the successor to the legendary Roland and founder and director of the Intermezzo Choir Ministry, which Carrie carries on with great inspiration. So please welcome Carrie.
Hello. It is indeed a pleasure to be here. And what we're going to do this morning is deal with a category of praise that happens a lot in spirited churches. And churches that maybe might not be as spirited, this is a way to make it kind of go spirited. Deals with when you first get started. When you first walk into the church, what kind of feeling do you want to have? Don't you want to have a welcoming feeling? Don't you want to have a joyful feeling? Don't you want to have a feeling that you know you're getting ready to go into worship? Yes. So, in saying that, the first song is Morning for Church. I did this, I'll say 20 years ago, because I come from Berean Presbyterian Church. I've been here all my life, and I've been the director of music there, it feels like all my life. But I wanted something that when people came in, instead of just, you got to work your way up to the praise, you wanted it to start with praise. So this was written for my choir, Ministry of Love Choir. And as you see words. It's not hard at all. It's just that it's to give you that feeling of you've now entered the place of worship. Morning church. It's time to praise his name. Morning church. Let's join the Christian band. Feel them in your heart, feel them in your feet, feel them in your hands, feel them in the streets. Morning church, let's praise his name. Now I'm just doing this so you can hear the rhythm of it, okay? So I'm going to teach out the parts, but first let's just try to get this rhythm straight, okay? Let's first get this rhythm straight. All right. All right. So I'm just going to say it first, okay? Morning church, it's time to praise his name. Morning church, let's join the Christian band. Feel them in your heart, feel them in your feet, feel them in your hands, feel them in the streets. Morning church, let's praise his name. All right, there's sopranos. Morning church, it's time to praise his name. Just listen, please. Morning church, let's join the Christian band. Feel in your heart, feel in your feet, feel in your hands, feel in the streets. Morning church, let's praise his name. All right, we're the sopranos. Sing good morning. Morning church, it's time to praise his name. Morning church, let's join the Christian band. Feel it in your heart, feel it in your feet, section where it starts repeating, cut it off. Don't drag it out. So that's why I don't want it too slow, because we don't want it to turn into a funeral dirge. That's not what it is, all right? What we're hoping for is, this is before you can call worship. This is the introit. We use this as the introit, okay? So you see how it is. You got it, right? So when I run that fast and easy, stand up, please. Please. Huh? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I can't forget about my baby. Hey, how can I forget about my basin? What's wrong with me? I'm sorry, gentlemen. I'm sorry. Morning church, it's time to praise His name. Morning church, let's join the band. Morning church, let's praise His name. Right, we take it up. Rather do it again. Morning church, it's time to praise His name. Morning church, let's join the Christian band. Feel it in your heart, feel it in your feet, feel it in your hands, feel it in the streets, feel it when you walk, feel it when you get to that one. You're gonna do that descending line, right? Get it? Morning church. Morning church. Go up. Morning church. Morning church. Morning church. Let's praise His name. You can go to the E flat. Morning church. Let's praise His name. You can go to the E flat. Let's do that again. Let's do that again, basically. So I cut ahead and went to the second ending. But let's just go straight for the first ending and then go back and do the whole thing through. Okay, here we go, basses. 1, 2, 1, 2. Morning, morning church, it's time. There we go, move your mouths. Morning church, let's join Morning church, let's praise His name. There we go. Here we go. Second round through. Morning church, it's time to praise His name. Morning church, let's join the Christian band. Walk the line. Get off it. Feel it when you sing. Feel it when you shout. Join the Christian band. Take your brother by the hand. We will stand across the land. Morning church. Morning church. Take it up. Morning church. Morning church. Morning church. Let's praise His name. All right. Make sure when you're doing your rhythm, the things are cut off, especially in the elongated portion. Feel it in your feet, feel it in your hands, feel it in the street, feel it when you walk, feel it when you talk. Not feel it when you walk, feel it when you talk. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay, and the reason why we're not doing that is because let everything that has breath praise the Lord. Who knows? You might have drums, congas, tambourines, your hands, your feet. So there's no telling what you might have. Back in the day, they had washboards. So there's no telling. Okay? So you got to leave space where you can engage all of that. Right? So we're not going to do a lot of legato singing in this song. It's going to be cut off. So you go straight for your consonants, so everything can get cut off together, and the rhythms can just swell up together. Okay, now, so you see what we're clapping on here, right? 2, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, done and the choir's coming in, this is a march song. They're going to come in marching. Home in church, it's time to praise His name. And you're marching to wherever they are getting to. That is one of the steps. All of this. Okay? So, you feel it. You want to feel the joy of church. Church should be joyful. It should be joyful. It shouldn't be a place where the babies go to sleep. Or maybe the ones not so babies go to sleep. All right, so. All right, here we go. One. All right, let me give you a little introduction. It is joy that we bring as the musicians of the church. People should understand that when you're there serving, you're doing it with a joyful heart. And you're doing it so people understand it is a joyful thing we're doing. It's not being done begrudgingly. It's not being done because somebody's making us do it. We do it of our own free will, and we enjoy it. So thank you.
borrow that for the church, feel free. She didn't know I'd already decided to utilize. That's such a beautiful piece, and thank you for that contribution. I'm going to talk briefly, and I'm going to try and jump into the music as much as possible. I really just want to thank Mr. Lloyd for the opportunity to be with you all in this capacity, and to put emphasis on what is a very real part of American music, and that is the Negro spiritual. I would call myself an enthusiast as it pertains to the Negro spiritual, because of just what it offers to us as singers and as those of us who may be believers, and then for those of us who may be historians. It offers so much rich heritage that we're able to just come face to face with. Now, for me personally, when it comes to the Negro spiritual, I often like to focus in on two parts, if you will, and they branch off the different ideas of two parts of the Negro spiritual. One has to do with the musical accuracy of what has been put forth, and then the other one that I'm always emphasizing, sometimes is maybe just not emphasized enough, is the context in which the spiritual came about to be. All right? And I know that a lot of times we feel as if it turns into an uncomfortable conversation, or it's like something that's like kind of wide over. I want to introduce myself and say I jump in your face with that context for several reasons, but most importantly to honor the space in which the Negro spiritual was born. All right? And so we don't, we don't have to hide, we don't have to shy away from it. We know that the Negro spiritual was born in the American slave fields. All right? We know that part. And we can understand that part. Either they were born in the slave fields or on a chain gang or some space like so. Right? And that is where, which is such an amazing, I think, beautiful entity that speaks to the determination, the beauty, and the hope that's in the human spirit. To be in such what would be a dire situation, and hundreds of years later have created something that is the very reason that we're all sitting in this room right now. I think that's such a beautiful idea. I think that's such a beautiful aspect, and I believe that is really, it embodies what the spirit of music does just in general, that when we might be separated by landscape, we might be separated by thought, we might be separated by language, this idea, this phenomenon that we are yet studying today brings us together in that context. I think that's phenomenal. So, like I said, it's always a part of how I present. It's always a part of context and just making sure that we stay just connected to what the spirit of the music is. So, we're going to start with the piece True Religion by a mentor of mine, by the name of Roland Carter. So we'll take that piece out. And I'm just going to push that microphone over. I work with high schoolers on a daily basis, so I'm used to projecting my voice, sometimes in a more domineering way, so that our young people understand that I mean business. And so I promise you I won't use the more domineering side of the voice unless it's necessary. But it's a joy, it's a pleasure to be with you. So we're going to start with this piece. True Religion, you must have that True Religion. I'm going to start with my sopranos, and if I can just conquer this first page, there's so much already that is that's just kind of locked up in this first page of music, and I'd like for us to experience that together. But first, we're going to learn the parts and the integrity that is there. All right? I'm starting with my sopranos. If you'll read with me, I'm going to take it down tempo. All right? So you have ready and oh, you must have going to give all of the musical value that is there, right? So that when we get to spaces like can't cross there, right? Versus can, cross, got that? And then even where we have, you must have your soul converted. You must have that, right? Let's give it its full value, all right? One more time for me, sopranos. Would you start right at must have for me, please? I'm sure we understand the beginning. Ready, and. Jump right in. Oh! Good. Second ending. Good. Mezzo, alto. In my high school choir, I have renamed my altos mezzos, just based on the understanding of what a mezzo-soprano is and a contralto is, all right? So from time to time you hear me say mezzos, I'm talking to you altos. Yes? Okay, wonderful. All right, here we go. Right there at must have for me, altos. Ready, and... Right in. Good. Let's go, tenors, right there at must have. Ready, and good. Right, let's look at can't again for me. Will you sing that for me, tenor? Such lovely tone. Can't. Ready, can't. Good. Oh, yes. Good. Sorry. That's my apologies. Must have. Ready, must have your soul converted. Must. Baritone, I'm jumping to you now. Ready, must. Good. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong line. My apologies. One more time. Must have. Ready, and. Good. Right in. Oh, yes, good. 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 Can I have all parts at must have for me, please? Here we go. Ready, must. Must have. Delving into the purpose of this piece. So Negro spirituals, they had two main purposes. Either you had a song that was a double-sided meaning that spoke to the idea of escaping slavery, or the idea of dying and going to heaven. That was one. Or you have songs that kept us enthusiastic about the work so that the time would go by and we would all stay on the same rhythm. Which one do you think this is? Don't be afraid to answer. Which one do you think this is? Do you think it's going to be the second one? Yeah, I would think so. I think that this would be one of those pieces that it's like we all want to keep us together, working, passing the time, making sure that whether it's a chain gang, whether it's a rock quarry, whatever the space that we may be working in, we are all joining in together to stay in rhythm, in tempo, in high spirits, because we've got to work all day, right? And so this is that motivator, right? So now, and I love this. This is so amazing about Negro spiritual. Like, we learn in our school of thought about music about a strong beat and a weak beat, right? Or a downbeat and an upbeat, right? And we can feel that in the song. Must have a beat that is strong, weak, strong, right? Here's what's so amazing about that. That those in the space in which this the spiritual was created, they knew about the same thing, but the inspiration behind it was a little bit different, right? So that where we experience strong beat, weak beat, or downbeat and upbeat, they were experiencing downswing and pickup, or they were experiencing inswing, backswing, right? So now, if you will, just humor me for a moment so that we get into the idea of this. Would you pick a hard labor job for you? Whether it be working on the railroad, whether it be working in a rock quarry, whether it be working in a wheat mill, whatever the case may be, would you pick one of those occupations, if you will, and would you give either, we know it, like I said, as the downbeat and the wheat beat, but I'd like for you to express it from your chair, in whichever one it is. If it's a pickaxe, if it's a sledgehammer, if it is a threshing, if it's a threshing plow, whichever one it is, I'd like for you to express that on the strong beat and the weak beat. The weak beat is, or the strong beat, or the strike beat is the downbeat. The weak beat is the pickup, and just express that in your singing. Would you try that for me? Pick whichever, like I said, pick whichever occupation. Hopefully none of us have ever had to work in a rock quarry before. If you have, I'm sure it's not the most fun job, but this is what keeps us going throughout the day, right? Here we go. So would you start right there at must have for me, please? Here we go. Ready, and must have that true religion. Must have your soul unchained. You must have that true religion, or you can't cross it. Oh yes, you must have. Good, right? So, and here's the thing. It's really cute how you're doing it right now. It's really cute. It is. It's so, must have that truth. Now, here's where we get a little serious with the comedy, right? If that was your stance in working, you might have been in trouble. Yeah, you might have been in trouble. And so once again, like as I was saying before, we oftentimes we avoid really digging into what was going on, like what was going through the minds of the people that were in this space, right? We enjoy the spiritual. It has such a wonderful embodiment of the human spirit, but I think that we won't do it justice unless we actually take and place ourselves in that space to say, like, what was this experience? What was this experience that kept us going from day to day? What was this experience that had us working from sun up to sundown and getting up the next day and not having a break in between days? This was how we connected. This was what drove us forward. This is what pushed us forward, right? So let's go again. This time, I'd like for you to really get down and dirty. We're going to work today. This is what joins us together in this experience, all right? Here we go. Must have. Ready, and must have. There it is. There we go. True religion. Must have. introspective question. One is going to be one that once again inspires us to keep working, right? If you'll look in the score, the arranger has placed on the repeat, he puts these accents above taking us back into the verse. Any idea in the concept of, we could say musically why he would do it, but any idea in the concept of working why we would put those accents there? Anyone? Why? No takers?
Reestablish the top of the...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely reestablish, re-energize the downbeat in the music, right? We want to, because once again, we're working all day. So it's very possible that the repetition of work becomes mundane. And so in order to keep us in line, to make sure that we are right centered as to where we should be, we got to re-energize. Because after a while, oh yes, you must have that true, right? Would you go one more time for must have for me, please? Pick your occupation again. We're going to keep that occupation. Trust me, if these ancestors could do it all day, you're going to give me just 2 more minutes. I promise. Let's do it, all right? Here we go. Must have. Ready and... Must have. Come on, work like a man. True religion. Must have your soul done. Good. And... Must have that true religion or you can't cross. Good. Energy out. Oh, yes, you must. Done. Right, now let me ask you this question as I am finished. What changed for you about the song from your first initial hearing and singing of it to now this application of what it meant to the originators and those who gave birth to the song? What changed for you, if anything? Yes.
I think you invoked us to be empathetic with telling us to pick an occupation, and it sort of took us there.
Yeah.
So I think that changed.
Wonderful, wonderful. Anyone else?
It feels more embodied.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely embodied. Yes.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh my.
Being a song is something I was feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else? Yes, please.
That goes exactly what they were saying.
Yeah.
I just love the use of the word visceral.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw a hand over here.
You got to move your head around to keep the sweat from running in.
Absolutely, yes. Just hand over here.
It got more serious.
Yeah.
More important to sing that.
Right. And so once again, as I'm finishing up here, this is just that emphasis once again. Don't avoid this part of the human spirit. Right? Don't avoid it. We sing the songs, we enjoy them, we love how they feel, but we don't want to avoid, because here's the thing, when it comes to other sources of music, we don't avoid where those spaces of music were born, right? We don't avoid the idea of where some of our hymns and anthems come from. Beautiful spaces, absolutely. So it's like, don't avoid it, because it lends to so much more when it comes to the meaning of the song. And it can still be enjoyed, right? It's not so dark that it's like, oh, okay, I don't really want to sing this anymore. But it is more now a human experience in song versus it just being a musical experience. Thank you all so much, and I look forward to the next time.
Jarrett. Okay, this song is My Good Lord's Done Been Here. By the way, if you want to hear Jarrett's choir sing that spiritual, October 20th, just saying. Okay, this is by a composer named Lee Cloud, who I wasn't able to find much information about, and this is the only one of his pieces I know. It was handed down to me by someone, and it's been in my files, and I keep coming back to it. He lived in Chicago, but not a long life, just from 1950 to 1995. And this song is similar in feel to True Religion that we just worked on. Sometimes there's a couple recordings out there by various choirs that'll take this kind of fast, but then it doesn't have the same feel. This probably was done in a more subdued way after hours at a camp meeting type situation. There was a mixed message from various sources of the masters on the plantation as to how they felt about the religion that was taken up by the Africans who came over and then made it their own. Some thought this was a good thing because they kept talking about heaven, so that would mean that they're okay with what they have here and they're just looking for something by and by. But some were smarter and knew about the mixed message and could tell it was there. And there was some danger if you would get together and gather for worship late at night or any time or place and be discovered. Here's a testimony from, let me find it, Peter Randolph, who is an enslaved African, who summarizes strategies involved in secret worship, its content and importance to the community. Not being allowed to hold meetings on the plantation, the slaves assemble in the swamps out of reach of the patrols. They have an understanding among themselves as to the time and place of getting together. So it was done in secret. And this may have been one of those songs, a little bit lighter and a little bit understated. The words, "My good lords have done been here, blessed my soul, and gone away. And I thank him for my living every day." So a sense maybe in that moment, in the swamps, late at night, of feeling that presence. And then wondering where that leads. And that's where the verses come in. On the second page, "Lord, I would not be a backslider. I tell you the reason why, because if my Lord were to call on me, oh, I wouldn't be ready to die." Now this verse and the other one that comes later are very common to many spirituals. Spirituals will have refrains that are unique to them, and then verses that are somewhat interchangeable. And this one is as much about getting with the faith as it is about getting up the courage to go with those in your community, which would not be all, but those in your community who would be taking the risk of going on the Underground Railroad. So let's dig in a little bit. It looks like it's very busy and fast because of those 16th notes and all those beams, but it's not. Okay. Okay, let's take the sopranos all the way through. So you feel that the rhythm is, "My good lords are done been here. Bless my soul." Here we go, sopranos. Ready and go.
My good Lord, I've been here. Bless my soul and all. My good Lord, I've been here. Bless my soul and all. My good Lord, I've been here. Bless my soul and all. And I thank Him for my living every day.
Okay, good. And that reminds me, there's a couple of wrong notes in this edition. Again, this is printed by a local press, Marvell Music, Hampton, Virginia, which was at one of the HBCUs that was a press out of that college. The first note on page 3 in the sopranos should be an A, not an F. In other words, you're doing instead of. And And we know that because the same phrase comes again later. And in the tenor part, on that same bar, B flats all the way through. Instead of B natural the way it's notated there. And we know that because that's the way it is in the piano part. Altos. I'm going to play the soprano line, and then you come in. Good, altos. We have a few members of the choral society here. Raise your hands. Okay, and they know this piece because it's on the program. Okay, tenors. Sunday, October 20th. Here we go. So here's the soprano lead in tenors. Here we go. And one. Here we go. We got it? Let's try it with everyone. We're going to do the repeat the second time, as you may see penciled in. Softly. Ready and go. My good Lord, here and bless my soul and all. Yes, my good Lord, here and He bless my soul and gone away. My good Lord. Folks who know it already. One of the interesting things in here that also comes up in a lot of the spirituals, you have the word yes thrown in there. That comes out of the congregational setting. That's an amen. My good Lord, done here. Yes. Yes. So it's short, it's an extra thrown on top. Let's start where the refrain comes back again. That's on page 5, right? Ready and go and. Yes.
So happy to be with you today with my dear brother Tom, my dear sister Carrie, and my dear brother Jarrett. So we've been speaking with you about all of these spirituals in different contexts, speaking from the heart, speaking from the body, and I want to speak a little bit about from the mind. You know, the spirituals have inspired so many composers and compositions over the course of decades and decades. And one of those composers is Clayton White, who I've given you the arrangement of I Want to Be Ready. And his arrangement is inspired by two spirituals. And so I want us to learn these two spirituals. And then I'm going to teach you just the refrain from this I Want to Be Ready. So I come from the Episcopal tradition. I grew up in the Episcopal Church at St. Luke's, Germantown, under the incredible tutelage of Dr. John Dangerfield Cooper. And he himself was inspired by spirituals and wrote a lot of music inspired by spirituals. And this is the book that we use at St. Thomas. We sing from the 1982 hymnal, but we also sing from our Lift Every Voice and Sing hymnal. And so both of the spirituals that inspired this arrangement for Clayton White are in this book. And so I just want to really teach you just by rote the first spiritual that inspires this. So I Want to Be Ready. We sing a lot of these spirituals at St. Thomas all the time. So it's just a part of what we do. It's a part of our church canon. And the first version of the spiritual actually is in a major tonality. It goes like this. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Try that with me. Ready? And I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Beautiful, beautiful. John said that Jerusalem was just 4 square. Walk in Jerusalem just like John. I hope, good Lord, I'll meet you there. Walk in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Take you guys on the road. Fantastic. The second spiritual is in a minor tonality. It has a similar theme, but actually it's a slightly different theme to it, but it includes the word ready in it. And this one goes like this. Better be ready. Better be ready. Better be ready, Lord. Ready to try on my long white robe. See what you can pick up of that. Here we go. 1, 2. Better be ready. Better be ready. Better be ready, Lord. Ready to try on my long white robe. Beautiful. That's it. Yeah. Then we got the verse on that. Oh, rise up, children, and get your crown. Ready to try on my long white robe. And by your Savior's side sit down. Ready to try on my long white robe. Better be ready. Better be ready. White was inspired by both of these spirituals and has this kind of really interesting mix. Take a look at I Want to Be Ready Now by Clayton White. And in measure 9, we see this call and response. And it really starts out, if we look at just the soloist has this bluesy. But the first part of this is kind of cool. It's kind of like in a major tonality almost. I want to be ready. 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 To walk in Jerusalem. Hey, there you go. Very good. So he's mixing again these two, and again, these spirituals kind of speak to us, and it's so mixed with so many other traditions in terms of major and minor tonalities and how these things intersect and talk about this journey that we're on. So again, inspired. I myself have multiple arrangements of multiple spirituals because they lend themselves to multiple different arrangements and expressions. Through jazz, through gospel. But the original sources of this music has been passed down to us. And for me and for everyone in this workshop, it's all about how these spirituals express the humanity. They express the humanity of the folks that created it. In the dire situations they were in, they were able to use this music as a form of hope. Since we are such great readers, let's just read. This is starting at measure 9. 1, 2. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Ready to walk in Jerusalem, just like John. Beautiful. Then Clayton does this. That's like his first sort of refrain. He actually then does a second refrain, a second version of the refrain. Let's read the second version, starting at the end of measure 15. Let's do just the choral parts. 1, 2, 3. Ready, ready, Seriously, we're going to take you on the road. Let's go back to measure 9. Just read that far. I want to be ready. 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 Ready to walk in Jerusalem, just like John. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. Ready to walk in Jerusalem, just like John. Then we get into the verses. So let's read your part at the verse part. Start right at measure 24. Measure 24. 1, 2, and... Good. The next part's going to go to that second refrain that we have. So tell you what, let's try this. Let's stand. We're going to try this from the top. We're going to go right to that spot. And you will have learned most of this arrangement. Beautiful. Measure 9. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. I wanna be ready. Ready to walk in Jerusalem, just like John. Oh, I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem, just like John. John said that the city was just four square. I'm ready to walk in Jerusalem, just like John. And he declared he'd meet me here. I'm ready to walk in Jerusalem, just like John. Oh, I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready to walk in Jerusalem, just like John. Thank you.